It is a common clique that human beings are all born equal. However, from time immemorial, society has created what one would term as artificial clusters among people, based on either cultural, race, religious, sex, or gender, among others. This is more so in societies where patriarchy is entrenched. Various international conventions and treaties forbid any form of discrimination. Specifically, the Convention on the Elimination of All Discrimination Against Women stops any member state from discrimination of women and girls on basis of gender. The systemic discrimination, however, has continued to soar in many countries, including Zambia. It is against this background that the Non-Governmental Gender Organizations Coordinating Council (NGOCC) was formed to be an umbrella organization for non-governmental, faith-based and community-based organizations in Zambia to uplift the standards of women and children in the country. NGOCC also champions women's empowerment and gender equity and equality in society. In over 37 years of its existence, NGOCC has grown to be the focal point of women's movement in Zambia, with currently a total membership of 111 as it stands at the end of 2022, including those highlighted in here, spread in all 10 provinces of Zambia, covering 68 districts. NGOCC coordinates its member organizations through 5-year SECO strategic plans, which articulates priority interventions for the period as endorsed by its affiliate members. In 2017 through 2018, the NGOCC formulated its 2018-2022 strategic plan. The then Executive Director, Ngocc Documentary, vividly recounts.
We didn't engage a consultant, to come in and help us write out the strategic plan. So we did our own thinking, our own analysis, our own contextualization, and because of that, there was a very high sense of ownership, for all of us at the Secretariat and the board, and even at the time when we were presenting the strategic plan, to the entire NGOCC membership, it was a process that was very engaging. And this is why even the theme of the strategic plan, building solidarity for women's empowerment, was actually very opportune for that particular strategic plan.
A budgetary trajectory of 109 million kwacha was drawn to foresee the successful implementation of the 5-year strategic plan. The strategic pillars that are women's economic empowerment, sexual reproductive health and rights, governance and women's leadership, climate change mitigation and resilience, and institutional development and sustainability set NGOCC's interventions for the period 2018 to 2022. The strategic focus was tailored to encompass all aspects of the empowerment of women and girls. Former board chairperson Ms. Mary Mulenga points to the conception of the 5 main pillars of the strategic plan.
The pillar on women's economic empowerment, that in a way cut across, sort of the age categories. But what was very interesting in that pillar was, accessibility to land. But also under that particular pillar, what was very significant was the access to financial resources, and I'm talking about village banking. When you look at the pillar, sexual reproductive health and rights, the issues of, teenage, pregnancies, girls dropping out of school. So most of our programs were focused on trying to address, those issues. Governance and women's leadership, very important, pillar to us as a women's movement. So I think what we were promoting there was really to encourage, as many women as possible to participate in, different categories of women's leadership, not just political. Climate change mitigation and resilience. that there's still a lot of information that people need out there in terms of how they need to look after natural resources. And so for us as NGOCC, we were focusing more on sensitizing people to create awareness, but also to see what alternative, the fifth pillar that we were focusing on, institutional development or capacity building, because we sincerely believe that if we are going to be effective and be able to implement or have success over the 4 pillars that I've talked about, I think we realized there was need to actually build the capacity of our members themselves.
In 1992, Monze District Women Development Association, DWDA, was established in Monze, Southern Province, with a view of implementing various women empowerment programs. In 2015, Monze DWDA received funding of 55,000 kwacha from the Swedish Embassy through NGOCC to start a climate change program in that district. The program encouraged farmers to venture into alternative crops such as sunflower in an effort to diversify from the traditional staple food, maize, which saw the birth of the cooking oil project in 2018 with an initial funding of 980,000 kwacha from the United States Africa Development Fund. Regina Chelo is Monze DWA Program Coordinator.
Number 1, train them into capacity building, which is training for transformation. Number 2, we are training them on women's land rights. Number 3, we are training them in goat rearing management. We are training them in HIV/AIDS awareness. And we are also doing a business called cooking oil. Kamba kuti twakayiba kwamba kuti iriwiyo rwa climate change kulindiswe rwanjira. Tatuwa ibiyo kulima mapopwe katutola ko FRI but tulima sunflower kuti akatugaya kuno kuma machine. Pena katusambala salad. Pena ayama machine twamala kugaya omu 35 kg twayeta twagaya. Pena iratupa 12 liters coating crude oil. Pena tukamana tukatusha madrum. Mbuli mwabona kale madrum uya. I think per day trawanya here 2 to 3 drums.
Ms. Jelo is happy with the support that Monze DWA has received from various partners through NGOCC.
Kambo bambi baola cooking oil ma secondary schools. Bambi baola cooking oil bago hospital. Bambi baola cooking oil bago pharmacy training center. No bajita ma workshops. Bago Ministry of Agriculture. Ba NGOCC bagatu yiharuiro pati maningi. Chiyo chibatu yihaje pati maningi. Bagatwambira kuti uhumbwa poberegera accountability.
Other programs Monze DWA has been implementing include the GOAT project, which has benefited various members, including Eva Nene from Jongo Chiefdom. Ms. Nene first received 2 goats from NGOCC in 2008, and the animals have over the years multiplied, giving her enough resources to construct a 5-roomed house for herself and send her children to school.
Niminganda ndaiyaga gabotu ndaihumba gabotu abana bangu mutwagaronga uzo munganda iyaga indi yatakari kuboneka gabotu suno turakomana turatangala abana bangu turi munganda mpati gabotu gaunyina amapenzi gaunyina agweheha.
And in the Mujiga area, Monze DWA, through its community facilitators led by Mudi Ntajilala, has been conducting climate change awareness programs where farmers are being taught to embrace new farming techniques in an effort to avert the negative effects of the global phenomenon, climate change.
pamunya twamana kuzwa wawo twakazumana naso mbuli ba facilitators weyabwinga ali mu communities mumbi weyabwi yakujatika climate change titwakagolera bo wawo twakainka mu radio programs twainka mu village edman weyabwisha abantu besu mu communities so bakabarwiyo bantu banji muminzi ikutita igonkwe isamu bwakulima yonse bakabarwiyo kwinda mu rwiyo rwa NGOs onu bakatretera rwa climate change.
With the realities of climate change being manifested in frequent and intense droughts, storms and flooding, which affects human, animals and plants, NGOCC with its partners like SNV, which have been working with the District Women Association in implementing clean energy project, promotes the use of biogas in Jerusalem area of Chipata district in Eastern Province. Through the project, various households in Chivumagoya's area are now using biogas-powered stove for cooking. Laitani Zulu is grateful for this invention and is calling on others in the chiefdom to embrace the use of biogas to protect the environment.
Kondwera mapunzo eti pasa chifukwa atipepu sako kuzambiri zimene tinali kuona pa umoyo wasu wa mabanja zote ata nkhuni chani betipunzi sako kuti ivi biogas vimene musebenzeshe ivi bikuthandeni kusogolo tubona tipina phindu nasese tikaliye kumbisha kwa biogas tienti gwepo please bati.
Alines Nyao, who is Chipata Dua Office Administrative Assistant, says beneficiaries of the program, which commenced in 2018 and targets to empower 150 households, have not only benefited from cooking stoves, but have also been equipped with skills on how to use clean energy.
Conservation farming, vantu tenzi wapunzisa ku kalimidwe kasoka makono. Kosa jua mitengo chijuwe kulingana kuti nyengo yano masiku inachinja. Then mpepo mamene yendera vinachinja. So vantu tinabapunzisa kupirira muri wa NGOCC ba project ivenzo chipasa kupunzisa mulimi kuti azive chalengesha kuti nyengo ichinje na chamenanga chitepo ponkala ife alimi kuno timadalira pa nyengo timadalira pa mvula. Then green energy tinabapunzisa ma businesses yamene wanga chite posebenzesa clean energy monga babbing.
Ms. Nyao is happy that the traditional leadership in the area is supporting the various efforts being implemented by NGOCC and its partners to fight the negative effects of climate change.
Timambira mafumu yakulu mafumu ya ndodo tima bafika vazi vanozi vati dwa iliko tikamboshira ma project yaso vazi vanozi vati vachita ma project yaso na kuti support vama chita support.
On a cool morning after some light rains in the wee hours of a Tuesday, women gather for their savings group meetings at the Movement for Promoting Women Affairs and Conflict Resolution, Mpwaka Center in Nakonde District, Muchinga Province. They are called one by Mpwaka Secretary to drop in their savings of that week.
Agnes, wanamkonda Agnes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 400.
Annie Mukwasa and Jacqueline Mwenya, who are among others, are members of Mpwaka Center, that is supported by NGOCC in Nakonde, have been empowered, and now they speak to some of the things they have managed to achieve through this project.
Group which ya wamina ukupanda amano limbi kuti na walonli ile naisa ku group twakwata ensansa twamonana n'abanandi tu balantange efya kwikala n'abana ifyo ofufya mombela siku ya mombela ndatwala ko mwana college elo naumbyala esambirira naumbi ndefu okumutwala ngana kwata okukira pali ankwatire ndefu amutwale college.
I started a small business making samosas. As I used to make samosas, my capital wasn't that growing. But I joined the silk group, which led me to open up two booths, which is Airtel and MTN. First I started with MTN, then I saw my business growing, then I started with also Airtel. So I've got two booths across the road.
But for Christina Singoi, fish farming has been a great deal for her, thanks to the savings group supported by NGOCC and other stakeholders.
Avyona joinile kuweno kumphaka impindi nkhulunkhaninye niza nivuka kumphaka kuti esiuku ikakwavulizika nkhaninye ndi mukukongola indalama kusiuku mukubankinga swinya mukunyoka mukongola zili wavulizika ukuya inkholelo kanomba ponalo la siuku nindalama zikatalikwa ukwiza avyona tirikati wike inskwimo omwecho chintu chitikala avye ngatalideko.
65-year-old Rhoda Namonje is another beneficiary from Pwaka Center, who was empowered with resources to start her liquid soap making business, which today she sells to residents of Nakonde district.
NGOCC nkupita mwa European Union mkwai kusari fyangu twanga twaririla pakuti tukatusiana mayo kwena konde mkwai.
Isaac Kalinda, who is a member of the youth group at Mpwaka Center, has been empowered and learnt skills of basket making that today helps him to raise some money for some needs at home and at school.
Thus, I cannot have a point of going and steal, maybe the point of having boredom to say maybe I have nothing to do, so better I go and abuse some drugs.
And the young ladies make these reusable sanitary towels for use in menstrual times.
Warasanga nimepata pa kutushte ni 15 kwacha 20 kwacha no banga takote 15 kwacha na ngora 20 kwacha wala kwa nishashani then takulifya kwa sio maya posa mwashitashani kozi yale pads na patana ma chemicals but aena utapenga ka bomba wachinja wawasha wakanika wachisa bwino bwino.
Land ownership by women is one key component that has been pushed in this strategic plan. Edith Mkandawire of Tazara Savings Group in Ntindi area, Nakonde district of Muchinga province, confirms 10% from 50 women members today have acquired land of their own after being educated on the importance of women owning land in their names.
So after that sambirisha ku Mpwaka kuine elo twambile monse bana mati nguri apati awo nenka shitaka plot kandi uri apanga shitaka plot kandi ne chachi ne from village banking group yesu abengi bana mayi bali kwatotuma plots twabo amtabalambo kukula bashitafye plot bambi bali kula po bambi bali kulotuma shops
emkwai atwisi nashitaka kufika plot mushina lyandi chandaka sisi emkwai nashitaka plot then next time if not pianga tu kulinga na business for dia panta shimpianga shidefula tumalata. From
the profits they are making from the savings, we've encouraged women to own land in their names. The results are visible. Being around from the time this project was launched, seeing how women are liberated financially, how independently they've come, brings so much joy. This project has received an overwhelming response.
The government of the Republic of Zambia affirms that the works of these women in the district have so far been visible and promises a great deal of land to be allocated to them in the ongoing resettlement plans the district is undertaking.
So the land has already been identified and I've assured them to say, come, the time when the Department of Land Resettlement, we actually want to see a number of women coming on board to acquire these parcels of land so that as Nakonde, we can be proud that even women today are able to own land. So this is one of the assurances, especially on the land ownership, that we have for NGOCC through PACO.
We have been talking about this issue for years and years now, so it's good to know that government has listened. But what would be important for us as NGOCC is to make sure that the women that could potentially benefit from that are aware that that is going to happen and are aware of how they can, access that land.
Zeriot Piri, NGOCC focal point person for Kasama District, Northern Province, takes us to a group of Kasama women that have benefited from the support from the NGO Council to start their poultry business.
This is the project that is focusing on 150 women beneficiaries. So from the inception that we launched this project in Northern Province, really it has been welcomed from all sectors, from all angles. Even when the project came to an end today, is this project going to continue? Oh, the answer is yes, because there is also a revolving fund.
Mawe yamene ningauza wazimai wanzatu kuti na wefe bazike mumuli program ya chani ya nkuku. Chifukwa nkuku zitipeleka pasogolo. Pame timatunga nyula zatu, timasunga vintu vatu bwino, so wambiri, vamakondwera, vamabwera kutijoina isekono.
Ni gender. So puleto sana paba leta ichicho bale gender. Pamna tukatana bashitata mu group yesu bati joina. Pakumona fe tuyitwele panta shingabana mayo batazara women's club.
The beneficiaries from some start-up capitals are further dotted around Mangango in Western Province. In grocery shop,
Bakatengo ka NGOCC ne bakali ekulutusangana kulubula moluko nakubokweza business yaluna moiko nakubonale kuti aya kwapata nji sute ya mamulaho nikuloweza kuti lupange tukwata twali moko nakwituseza kakuli mwakakwata baba mwakubona kuti watotobera bana ndikukubulera pe wena usiko wapata maikutwa hao kamba mobonela kutanta ubulele kubale baba mbowizi bona makuru chweko na malwalo tuselize sebato luketa nga mamutu kwata kutolufa 10,000 kutiona yewo mwaka kwata kaluna lutusa nange baba swala kwateni abafeza bafa kwateni baba
vegetable business
nzatoluluta niza entrepreneur enchiyo kutalimila fa kibeta business zama wateni ande
sale of clothes.
Ni bana na waluta kuli fama la bana una ni bana baswana kubona difference watu kuli kanti uyo mwana yo woma kuna nzeba swala ndeweza kuli wale kwa usaka utafya mazozo kwa zo bashimbela ala kwa usaka utafya mazozo shwala kuzofya fali tutoza na zela lutile ala kwa usaka wa mshibate yo mshibate tika pale wa mshibate tika lukwe kuzafaya kubona kuli banana nebe kwandu bachimbukile
hair salon among others.
Zanga kwateni litapi twale kutalimera bale weza litapi neli babangata sentosi yanelia kale kwateni kubona kuli batu be banyanda kwa kuchisa milili ko tali kamani sinsi muri munani filempo yako tani ya kantini kwa ulefera va NGOCC ne baba tutosize aholo ili mane roda gavatu tukumafa konofa nzoli kakutakwa tenile diriboni kali tono hapo kafela na sina wambo wona ko lifeli bale kile balu chimbuzo kwateni ole mafela kapene road.
And the Mangango Area Association, an entity born in 1996 that comprises of women, men and young people, today has a meeting hall and setting up a guest house with financial support from NGOCC is through Maureen Linka, confirming that the members' livelihood has changed, and all thanks goes to NGOCC.
Onafalo wela muhezima shilling 10,846 kwacha yakweza chwani yakwezi santo yakufeza guest house yaluna yale kulifele onafa onafa lwezi zeli kabanyi kakuba musali ya inzifa CDF committee nina niswali natalima basali babamu kona zeni susweza bamu basali babalitedi kawafela kuli lusike lwa inafa yaluna basali yali nduichumbe wama committee kona muluko na kulwanela akikuli mwendi kulwanela batu mwasi sichaba ese au li kansela kapa ese au li MP neba moni inenzi onachona kakuba mali nkana kona kulwanela basali babamu mwa community onamo
meape ba NGOCC balutusize kwa kuleza fund masherenyi inge kwa basket fund muluko niye kuyame yaho emibelie emubona kuna niho eba itusisa mwa community mobaizeza kamikopano kafayeza hala kona mwayezezo namo nini kuna nitundu to tolupangile kuli batu bafumane kwa kupumulelanga ineke kuli atu.
Like in other parts of the country, the village banking program for women in Katete district has some success stories. Fanny Mwanza, NGOCC district focal point person, attests that working with the Katete District Women Development Association, the village banking women's group has seen some beneficiaries graduate to now rearing small livestock.
Which is a pro-business, which has had a number of beneficiaries, both the women and the youth. And on the women, we have roughly about 10 women that are undergoing the same project. And on the youths, I think for now they've reached up to 15. And for the pigs, we have a pig project that is going on too. Project has helped empower a lot of women. It has helped them set a high standard for themselves. They don't have struggles or problems anymore about finances. It has given them a financial freedom to their children's education, to the planning of the home, and in life overall.
Janet Banda of Chankanza village in Chief Kawaza's area is one of the beneficiaries and now rears improved village chickens and quails.
So nachitata nkhala inzondandira nasiza mu 2018. So inzondandira mamayi nangani nzango nkhala pamene pano chabosa chicha nosa enda ku school ona ni munthu amayivala. So chija chenzonigwira kumtima nzachitabwa ntimpeze ndrama yakuti mwana waende ku school. Ng'ombe nilibe nibeka nkalikose. So after natengamo pindu village banking na mkuku na mmakrows paipa ndo nampeleka ku school ku nursing ali ku nursing ali muye 2 manji winangu achita apunzira kwanya mpande boarding I graduated.
Another beneficiary is Malisela Banda of Chilundika village in Chief Kawaza's area, who is keeping pigs and is encouraging women in the area to embrace such empowerment programs.
Ndiposo muri izo nkumba nambo beta wachani chinkuku izi mweza malea za loans napitokoda nkuku zili 50 nagulisa za nkuku zanipasa profit 5,000 niyamikira nzanga kubwalo kuti naoso iyi business ngatanga khale nacho chifuno afu nikoyambako pambana mayembekezera munthu wamuna kuti mwina pa nyumba mayambana koma ibintu vina ngukwanisa.
From the savings groups or village bankings that have been helped get established by NGOCC, the shining one stands to be based in Nakonde's Intindi area called Dazara Savings Group, whose members save for a year, and in 2022 they had the highest payout, where each member got away with a whopping 18,100 kwacha.
Twale saving a 500 kwacha. Yatwale saving a 500 kwacha twaba mu 50. Twa share out twalisa kwa tempia 900 plus. Esho twakwete. So nomba pakwa kana twashira kana shira muntu akwete 18,000 18.1.
One of the 5 pillars of NGOCC's strategic plan of 2018 to 2022 has been looking at is that of governance and women's leadership. and Kaoma Town Council in Western Province is one throughout the country that can boast of having more females elected to leadership position, as it has 6 female councillors elected.
My political journey started in 2016. I had no passion, so to say, to be in politics since I was doing something else. Now my ward just decided.
I started politics, that was in 2017.
I joined politics in 2016, but by that time I couldn't contest it. I contested here in 2021.
All the 6 have their side of the story to tell, as they have greatly benefited from the support that NGOCC has been given through material, capacity building trainings, among others.
There were a lot of support in terms of producing the portraits and money-wise as well, and also sensitization. During the campaigns, they used to come and tell the people the importance of voting for a female councillor. That's what made me to scoop the by-election in 2017.
It was hard, because when we come to campaigning now, these male folks, they had the transport and so on, and for them it was easy to speak to public. Now in my case, it was hard to talk to people, to face the people. It was hard until when the district chairperson now for UPND came to our to say, no, there's this organization which is coming to assist female councillors. Now bring the names and bring the particulars of your candidate. Now they came on board to help us, to assist us, to encourage us as female councillors. They were supporting us, they were encouraging us to stand as female councillors, and that made me to win. Due to the capacity building that we were being given, we were told how to lobby instead of just depending on the government's CDF, whereby I managed to lobby about 84 boreholes in my ward. I managed to lobby for a 1 drop-in center in my ward. I managed to lobby for a market shelter in my ward, whereby now people were asking, you are in opposition. By that time I was in opposition. How come you are managing all these things?
Well, it seems the vote from the general citizens during the 2021 general elections was not enough to show how females are cherished in leadership positions, as fellow civic leaders in the council elected a female, Betha Mata, to the position of deputy council chairperson. Intriguing to hear is one story of Messi Nehemiah Chilombolo, who was divorced by her husband for the act of engaging into politics and changing the narrative that only men deserved leadership positions.
When I stood there, I was married. I had a husband, but because of politics, it ended. I was divorced. He said, "Me, I'm in government. I can't be with you. You let my job end because of your politics. But my family was there for me. The community was there for me, because we have seen that even the man who was supposed to be by your side is not there. Just have that courage."
Elected ward councillor in Kaoma in 2021, Mobutu Mwangelwa, a GBV survivor whose marriage ended in 2019, recounts how her opponents on the political battlefield used her ended marriage to scandalize her so that people could not vote for her. But luckily, voters saw no value of attaching her private life to works that she would deliver once voted as a civic leader.
In my previous marriage, I used to be abused physically, sexually, and mentally. So there was a time when I was badly assaulted. That's how I decided now to leave that marriage while I'm still alive than living in a coffin. Because you can't live in an abusive marriage or for the sake of the children or for the sake of the community. So my opponents used to use that too. They said she failed her home. How is she going to manage to take care of this big word? But then I just promised the people, and according to the promise that I gave them, this is what my leadership is all about.
Being disabled is one and another aspect of life where people feel vulnerable most times. And in the case of sexual reproductive health and rights, SRHR, people with disabilities can testify the facet of stigma, both self and societal.
They are not so free to access services of sexual reproductive health because well, there is stigma out there and there is self-stigma. This was confirmed by the people that we were meeting and the health workers themselves. It was a blind woman. She wanted to get antenatal services, and the nurses there were like, oh really, how did you get pregnant? But really, is that a question you can ask a fully grown woman?
But through working relationship and support from NGOCC, Wale Chilufya, the coordinator of Zambia National Association of Women with Disabilities, an organization created to champion the rights of women with disabilities that has programs in Central and Copperbelt provinces in the district of Kapiri, Masaiti, and Impongwe, can attest that women with disabilities have been accommodated in that area.
The people that we're meeting, we're happy to realize that at least there is an organization or there are people out there who think about their sexuality.
Child marriages have many negative impacts on young girls, among them high infant mortality, maternal mortality, breeds conditions such as fistula, mental disorder, among other facts, as can be confirmed by international agencies like the United Nations. And for the people of Chipiri district in Luapula province, most of these negative impacts were evident around their community, as Madeline Kaunda of Chakumbuzo Women's Cooperative and Phyllis Impande confirm.
One, abana abanono baliyambira okufuna amafumu. Two, abana bene abo bene bale papa balefwa. Three, kairi ama operation ku bana abanono yalifula. Kairi talisalundamo nokwamba okutulika ikisu. Emkwai nandiwa kwe bati bale chepa.
Kairi akwatire efumu potalingiri okwata luyaopwa. So abana bale pita operation bambi balefwa. Ero na bali abana bana bo bale kwata bashikwanishe bwino na bena balefwa. So ichi chali tuletere ku bwafya.
After receiving support through sensitization on the dangers and ills of child marriages, and cooperative members being turned into food soldiers combating the vice, Agnes Kaemba of Chipiri district confirms child marriage is done away with within the catchment area of her organization, Chakumbuzo Women's Cooperative, as 164 girls have so far been taken back to school, of which 40 had been married off. Now 18 years old, Madeline Mwenya is one of the 164 girls taken back to school by NGOCC, working with Chakumbuzo Women's Cooperative, and she was supported for 4 years to see her complete her secondary education.
At one point I had stopped school, so after the NGOCC in our community, the committee, they saw that I don't go to school. They started supporting me because they knew that my mother was poor and he was never used to pay for my school fees.
married off at 14 years old due to family's vulnerability, Elizabeth Mupeta of Chilongo village in Chipiri district counts as one of the many that went through adult life whilst a kid, and clearly describes her episode.
I just went to write my grade 9 exams, got back to marriage again. And after the exams were out, I passed very well. And I couldn't go back to school due to finances. 2017, I got pregnant for the same man, though life was still hard again. It's okay, at first, could be the loving husband I always wished for. But as time went on, he stopped providing everything that he used to. And life just became so difficult. He could beat me up, do whatever he wanted to do. So it was hell.
Retrieved from an abusive child marriage with one kid, a girl now turning 5 years old, Elizabeth is now pursuing fisheries studies at Kasaka Fisheries Training Institute. And at the time of this visit, she was doing her industrial attachment at a fisheries breeding site in Chipiri district.
Yes, though life was hard in marriage, but at least I was able to get out and I'm here. At least I'm able to make something out of my life.
In Mabumba, Mansa district, Luapula province, the story of early marriages among young people, especially girls, is no different, as can be established by Constance Nkandu and Esther Kalaba. Even though her marriage was not blessed by her family, Constance Nkandu attributes her being eloped into marriage at about 16 years old due to lack of food and financial support at home. Having one child from the premature marriage, she, however, confirms it was not all rosy before Ngocc Nutrition, supported by Ngocc, came through to end the marriage after sensitizing her parents and herself on the importance of leaving early marriages and going back to school.
So, beta kubakira kuskuru kujana nang famo aperere wa bwekera fo alemba wa pasa wa chitako fimbi ndia wa chitako fimbi nimbwala sanga na opportunity pa nomba kudina CDF ngo adishibo kudemba kuverenga kutsakata opportunity limbwa chitako pera ding kata ding na fera explain kupere mpia.
After being married off for 9 months, Esther Kalaba, who was in grade 9, also had a child before being retrieved, and today, seated alongside her mother, the grandmother to her daughter, she affirms seeing the goodness of going back to school. She was helped to go back to school and supported with solar lights for her studies, school fees, books, among others, till she completed grade 12 in 2021.
Like abantu abalati bepeka pa face chaul ning temwa shana ko be fili fyonsi wasmeno kusimi namba lo waingira tira vecha chupa sana fi kwa mchupa alo chaja nkapo school ya nkapo kusane chupa fana na ripita mwi school disu manalo na pena na proud na name na ripusha tana kunta nshukuru concert na toa kwa kalikonsi.
Because here in Mabumba we can see the light at the end of the tunnel that Mabumba is now developing through these projects. Because if it hasn't been these projects, our girls still could have been renting also in the villages.
And Mabumba Nutrition Chairperson Luisa Chiwamine plainly remembers how 13 girls in Mabumba Chiefdom got pregnant in one single school term and dropped off school into early marriages or merely staying at home.
Bantu abakipokerere efo batampire nomba twatampire nomba okulisha okuya ku high school kulanshanya na bakafundisha bali tumfuire na bena pantu bali chimwene mobubi efe babana bali pa school ino nshita tulera ndamukuipishia kwa lyashi abana abali 5 na bali puisha grade 12 elio ababashara ebachiri bali konkanyapo kanshi cyari tupera kwensanse shako manatena tukwata ko ikirangiriro icyabana bamo abalalanga kwa bana abo busuma bwaba mukutira bakonkanye amasambiriro.
Welcome to Chipata District, Eastern Province, where NGOCC is working with Youth Development Foundation, YDF, to implement a program to end child marriages. Being implemented in Mwami ward of Luangeni constituency, several girls have been retrieved from marriages and readmitted in schools. 17-year-old Stonkia Piri is among the beneficiaries.
Nengala na mwana nengala na vuma 2017 na utakuchikwati 2017 mwana bado 2018 after nangala na mwana nezovutika kuchikwati alumezo nizonza pakana nichokuya kuchikwati kwa newerera ku makolo bangu after nada ku makolo bangu nelera mwana 2018 2019 2020 ndipene chimva kuti ku school kumanda school kuliwa bungu wa YDF wamatandiza ngati wenzeli kuchikwati ambofuna bwerere ku school ndipene wera kuno ku school namba school 2020 grade 7 pakana nelemba apalamba ni grade 9.
Janet Zimbiri, 18, and Christine Changombe, 20, are beneficiaries too, and they recounted the dark side of early marriages.
Ngovuto nghala uchikwati ukuchaya udaita chinji ngovuto tyala vinyinji sana noti chevuto nghala uchikwati na ntume wabuno wera ku school nzeru ta uchikwati ndichinina 16 years alume wangu enzena 22 years so kuchikwati kwana nzovutika nezongolala njala alume nzogula linunga ndiye beneganiza kuti nichokeko so bene chokako uchikwati kwala kwewera yangu kuzonucho ti ayi kukulika bunge kwa YDF basi ndepeneganiza kuti niwerere soti ku school.
Alina Mshanga, acting senior teacher at Manda Primary School, where some of the girls attend school, is happy with the timely intervention and grateful that the parents in the area have embraced the help from NGOCC and its partners.
Girl children here at school used to get pregnancies anytime. They could just stop school at any time. Others could be married off. And the contributing factors to early pregnancies and early marriages are poverty levels in the villages. As teachers, we could sensitize them, we could encourage them, but that alone could not mean anything. They needed financial support.
And YDF Executive Director Chinoya Muyuye has called on government to come up with a national program aimed at ending child marriages.
The girls that withdrew, they are now like change agents in the communities. They are the ones that actually encouraging their fellows to actually abandon I call them illicit marriages because they don't benefit anything. So we have seen changes in terms of girls' rights. We have seen changes in which now parents are willing, especially now that there is the introduction of free education.
Petauke is another district where NGOCC has trained many women to fight child marriages. Vaida Cholo is among the 10 foot soldiers trained by the Zambia Women Development Association, ZAWEDA, through NGOCC to fight child marriages in Zuze, Chimate, Chiwaya, Nyaminya, and Kalito areas in Petauke that has seen over 10 girls being retrieved from child marriages and sent back to school.
Ebapunzisa nao mafumu olwa chifi kalinda walo beruta kwala tiruta nao ebauja ndechizomera kuti nichendi mkaona mvutani vyazi mkomuleta kwaso so community yonse yuziva pankhani yamene iyowerera bana ku school.
And Hope Mambwe of Chimate village, who fell pregnant at the age of 18, is happy that she was retrieved from that child marriage.
So wanabwera vaneba nanza kota kuli program kuyaza wenda vamatandiza ku school nizokamba ati mfuno bora ku school but nilibontandiza so nakamba ati iliko I program amatandiza kutandizira mabuku kutandizira kupasa ko bakudya vosira mwana kaili bamamisi basebenza so kutasakira saina mwana bimankhala bati bavutako so leka nifike ku program kwa chitachani banitandizireko.
Free education, introduced by the government of the Republic of Zambia under the new administration, is being praised by traditional leadership as girls retrieved from marriages or those that stopped school could now go back to school without paying anything.
Ili new government isirepanga, ili new Dawn government tule itasha pakwisa ingishama teachers. 2 pakwisa kwata free education. Na balia bonse balia abaletwe bo kuti mukala balipira chinshi nomba na babweleramo ekuti NGOCC ile bomba bwino na government and if they continue Zambia yesu yara cha develop.
Induna of Chief Mwenda in Chipiri district, Moses Ilengwe, confirms Chief Mwenda's target of 0 child marriages in the chiefdom in the year 2023.
Barisana declare by the year 2023 there will be no hairy marriage mu chiefdom. 1 abo abengasanga wa muliyo the family kumwaume atima kulibana mayo bafuire balipila ngombe ya buta iyabula mwe kisemba chimbicha ichili chonse 2 no kubasendo okubatwala kukuteko pakuti bwabakanda because 1 nishibayi kata insambu sha mwana kukusambilira 2 ilia mwana terafika pali 18 that is defilement.
Ladisalas Lupoko, who is headman Luangeni in Chipata district, equally confirms drastic reduction in child marriage cases, further warning that the customary bylaws are being formulated to prosecute offenders.
Mbali iyi si ya chilendo kumakoro yae chifukwa nga kale kuno inkosi ya makosi na makosi bonse bone na pankani amene kunena kuti akansi ni kwa bwino kuti ngati munthu akumva lini ni bwino kuti timzenge mulandu kuti akonke njira yamene tufuna sewe temafumu na njira yamene yufuna boma.
And Chief Katuta of Lupososhi district in Northern Province affirms through traditional leaders being against child marriages.
Tampa fena kale ishamfumu shila bombapo paba fyasha bale ofya bana baka skulu amufunya ku skulu amutwala kumushi mkupwa.
What advice would these young ladies have for their peers that could be victims of this vice?
Ndichupo takuba nkuma ko chitwala iskulu la twala pamudu
ningabauze kuti babwerere ku skulu
kusambirira kwabo kankala
ngaba joti ya soda chikwati njovuta buno werere ku skulu.
The retrieval from child marriage success stories of many girls around the country are sweet melodies in the ears of former board chairperson Mary Mulenga.
You know what? If there's anything that we can talk about, as NGOCC, to make us walk with our heads high, it is such stories.
These young ladies have been through a lot. But what is their ultimate dream in life?
I think it's to make a bright future for my child, first of all, and my family, because they mainly depend on me.
Boys and men are an integral part of NGOCC and its member organizations across the country, as can be confirmed in activities undertaken by the Zambia National Men's Network for Gender and Development in Rufunsa.
Early child
and forced marriages. Zamene Zakamba Lelo. For these few opening remarks, I wish you God's blessing as we start this very important workshop.
So after that day, the following day, nabwa natumizako mwana wanga. Nabena ngo wasilati bana yendani kwa mugazi mferere mweka.
Mnawatumiza ku meeting.
Kuno kwa mene.
Kuno kwa mene. Nkani amene mwezi mwanzo ufuna manje mwaiona.
Inaiona so nabwa nabatumiza.
Chai mna watumizira ncha.
So naona uti information yamene natenga mweja. Naona uti ili profitable ku moyo wa bana.
We got a project called Access to Reproductive Health and Rights as means of ending early child and forced marriages, where we were reaching out to our traditional leaders, our men and boys, religious leaders from various churches that we are sharing this information. The whole idea is for them to go and start talking about these issues with their subjects and also within their church, so that we break the silence concerning sexual and reproductive health and also gender-based violence.
Having been at the height of overseeing the implementation of the strategic plan, Ngocc Banda Mwale, the then executive director of NGOCC, is happy with the scores made across the country.
I think that makes me feel very proud in that when we mean to take development right to the grassroots, this is what it meant. Because we channeled all our resources as we were implementing the strategy, to the communities.
For the new executive director, Animbewe Anamela, who pays tribute to the past team and staff for their efforts in bettering lives of people across the country through the 2018 to 2022 strategic plan, hopes to build on from what has been done so far, as well as looking into evolving phenomenon.
Already have developed a strategic plan from 2023 to 2027. And this plan is informed by the lessons that we learned, in the last strategic plan. And one of the key lessons we learned was that economic empowerment of women remains a pivotal issue that should be addressed. So our new strategic plan, while taking into account some of the lessons we've learned, has also looked at a new area where we'll actually try and address attitudes, beliefs and practices. So we're going to be piloting some information technology hubs, and that is just to ensure that we get women, to get involved, how they can benefit from it.
And now, the scores for the strategic plan.
Around the first pillar of women's economic empowerment, we were able to link women to financial services and ensure that these women were not only able to save money, but were also able to borrow money. A total of about 18,562 received finance, and credit in order to grow their businesses around sexual and reproductive health and rights. Through this, we ensured that a number of teenagers were able to access health services and information. What was cardinal in this response was that we had to work as well with traditional leaders to try and change the mindsets and change the practices around governance and women's leadership. And in that, we actually reached quite a number of women around the leadership mentorship program. And the total number we reached was 3,837 over the strategic period. We looked as well at enhanced community resilience and adaptation to climate change. So in this, we did form some study circle groups that looked at the impacts of climate change. And we also were able to reach about 10,965 community members who were sensitized on smart agriculture. One thing that was very important for us also is that we needed to always remember that we're a growing organization and that we should constantly look at building the capacity of ourselves as a secretariat, but as the NGOCC collective, which includes our member organization. So the last strategic objective, as you saw, was really aimed at ensuring that we were able to effectively deliver on all the plans that we had envisaged for ourselves over that strategic period.
Empowered with knowledge, financial and material capital.
They should continue what they are doing. They shouldn't stop. Please, we are pleading with you.
Married off as children, now retrieved, given education. Whichever life challenge they faced, they all have one common thing as they smile to life ahead.